We're going to be looking at connectors, point-to-point diagrams, and also circuits. In the project manager, we've got the corresponding project open, which is Demo 14. I'm in the schematic subfolder, and we're in drawing demo10.dwg. Now, demo10.dwg has already got an existing connector in it. So let's pan and zoom in on that connector. And we're going to start looking at connectors first. So here's a connector that we're going to use in an AutoCAD electrical drawing. It's got a tag number there, PJ001, and it's got 4 pins, 01, 02, 03, 04, all sequentially numbered on the right-hand side of the connector. So if I was going to connect wires to that connector, they'd come off of each of those pins. Now, if I want to insert another connector into my AutoCAD electrical drawing, what I would do is go up to the schematic tab here on the ribbon and go into the Insert Components panel, and it's this little flyout menu here. And I've got 3 options. Ignore Insert Splice for the moment. We've also got Insert Connector, and we've also got Insert Connector from List. Now, if you look at the flyout there, that inserts parametrically generated connectors from an Autodesk Inventor professional XML file or another defined list in a separate XML file. Now, we don't have any XML files to use, so we're just going to go up to this one here, Insert Connector, and that'll bring up the Insert Connector dialog box. Now, the parametric tools that we're using here are similar to the parametric tools in Autodesk Inventor for connectors. That's why they're linked, because sometimes you have electrical connectors in Autodesk Inventor models that can be brought into AutoCAD Electrical. Let's have a look at our dialog box. You can see the pin spacing is 0.75. That's 3/4 of an inch, because I'm using the JIC Imperial standards, and we've got 4 pins in the pin count box there. Now, there's lots of different settings here. You can set a fixed spacing, and you can go and pick that spacing from the drawing if you want to. My pin spacing is there, 0.75. I can also put a connector across wires and put it at a wire crossing. I might have, for example, a 3-phase multiple bus group of wiring, and I want 3 pins in my connector, and I want to put that across, like in the preview here, across the multiple bus wiring. The pin list is going to start at 1. You'll notice in this pin here, we've started at 01. There's a reason for that. I like to have zeros in front of my single digits, so 01, 02. I'll change that there to 01 to give it a numbering philosophy when I bring the pin into the AutoCAD electrical drawing. I'm going to change the pin count. I'm going to change that to 6. I'm going to leave it at the fixed spacing of 0.75. I'm going to insert all of the connector in one go. However, I can allow spaces or breaks when I've got connectors that are long. So if I had, say, 25 pins and I wanted to break that down into, say, 13 and 12, I could do that. And if I do that here, you'll see that that allows spaces and breaks, and when I bring the connector into the drawing, it'll prompt me where I want those spaces and breaks to go. I'm just going to insert all of my 6-pin connector. I can also start the connector as a child and link it back to a parent component in the drawing as well. Now, you'll notice that this particular connector here has the pins on the right-hand side. If I flip here, you'll notice I can flip so that the pins are on either side of the connector. I want them on the right-hand side like that, so I click on Insert. What will happen now is you'll see that on my mouse, instead of a crosshair, it's showing me where that connector is going to go. So I'm going to place it roughly there. You'll see all of the attributes come up as it comes in, and you'll also see that we've got PJ ? That's because I need to edit that component now to go in and change the component tag for that connector. So I click on it, right-click, edit component like so, and I can go in here and change that component tag to 002, let's say. I'll OK that now. That updates in the drawing, PJ001, PJ002. So that's how I insert a connector into my AutoCAD electrical drawings. You can also add extra pins to a connector that you've brought into your AutoCAD electrical drawing. Now, we're staying in Demo 14 and we're staying in drawing Demo 10 as well. We're looking at the smaller of the 2 connectors, which is PJ001, and you can see that we've got 4 pins on that particular connector. Now, if I want to add a pin to this connector, what I can do is I can do it two ways. I can use the ribbon or I can use the right-click menu. Let's use the ribbon first. So I go to the schematic tab up on the ribbon here, edit components panel, and it's this flyout here in the top right corner of the panel. And you can see there, these are all my connector edit tools, and I've got add connector pins. It says specify where to insert the new pin. Now, if you look down at the command line, it says reset or 05. So basically what it's done is it's looked for the next available pin number, which is 05 in this particular case. Because I'm looking at this particular one, if I go and click here, can you see when I highlight like that and I click, the 05 goes in there and it goes where I click on the connector. So if you want these all to be nice and equally spaced, maybe pop a few little construction lines in there that are nice and neat and space the numbers out neat and tidily, and maybe use the object snap to snap to on the connector using an endpoint or intersection snap maybe. Now you'll notice as soon as I do that, the next available pin on the command line now is 06. Now if I right click and go to reset, it then says next pin. So what it's allowing me to do is override that sequential numbering. So I could put in say 10 and press enter. And then when I click here, let's say the next new pin is 10. So I can reset and now it's gone back to 11 on the command line, the next sequential one like so. Now you'll notice these aren't numbered up accurately anymore. I've got 01, 05, 02, 10, 03 and so on. That's not a problem. We can go and look at that and renumber pins later on in the section. What I'm going to do is hit escape a couple of times and show you the right click method. So I select the component, right click, and down here now you can see I've got add connector pins, and it's exactly the same. So now it's specifying where to insert new pin. You can see the default there is 11 on the command line. So if I come down here and click here, the 11 goes in there like so. So you can see now I've got a complete mishmash of numbers, purely where I've just been inserting random pins into the connector. But that is how you insert new pins into a connector in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Staying in the Demo 14 project and the Demo 10.dwg drawing, what we're going to look at now is deleting connector pins. Now I must stress, as I have stressed in previous videos, you must use the AutoCAD Electrical tools to delete any components, any component attributes, and so on and so forth. The reason being is if you don't and just use erase or use the delete key on the keyboard, you can potentially corrupt your AutoCAD Electrical database by leaving orphaned objects in the database behind the drawings. Let's have a look now at deleting connector pins. It's very, very easy to do. If I go to the Edit Components panel here on the Schematic tab on the ribbon, I click on my flyout here and I've got a delete connector pins option. So I click there. It then says select connector pin to delete. So I'll go for that 05, click on it there, and that just deletes it nice and easily. If I select the 10 there as well, that gets deleted. I just press enter or escape to finish, job done. I can also use the right click menu. So I select the component, make sure that I right click, and I want to delete the connector pins on the menu there, and it's the same process. I still get the same pick box, click on that 11 there, it's gone, and enter to finish. So I'm now back to the original PJ001 connector with the 4 pins on it. It's that quick and easy, but make sure that you use the delete tools available in AutoCAD Electrical. I can't stress that enough, especially when you start working with things like connectors, pins, and when we move on to PLCs as well. Very, very important that you use the appropriate delete tools in AutoCAD Electrical. We're still in the Demo 14 project and we're still in the drawing Demo 10.dwg. What we're going to look at now with our connectors is actually moving connector pins. When you bring a connector into an AutoCAD Electrical drawing, it parametrically spaces all of the pins nice and neatly. So we're looking at the second connector in our drawing now, which is PJ002. I've zoomed in nice and close so that you can see what's going on the screen. Obviously, you may have a bigger screen than me, so you might be able to do this with both connectors on the screen. Okay, so I've got 1 through 6 there for pins on the connector PJ002. But I might want to move one of those pins, and it's very, very easy to do. You're on the schematic tab on the ribbon, edit components panel, click on the flyout here, and you've got the option to move a connector pin. So when I click on that, I'm going to click on connector pin 2, and I want to move it. Now I select a new location for pin 02. I can put that anywhere I want on the connector, so I'm going to put it down between 4 and 5 there. So if I click there, it moves it between 4 and 5. There's nothing to stop you doing that. These pins are very flexible. They can be renumbered as well, so you don't need to worry about the numbering order either. So that's how you move a pin using the ribbon. Let's just hit enter there now, or escape. And if I select the component itself now, and then right click, I can also move the connector pins on the right click shortcut menu. It's right there. Same process again. Select connector pin to move. So let's click on 2. Pick a new location. I'll pop back up here. Click there, and 2 goes back in the middle between 1 and 3. That's how quick and easy it is to move connector pins in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're still in the Demo 14 project, and we're still in the drawing demo10.dwg. Now what I've done is I've zoomed into both of the connectors in drawing Demo 10, PJ001 and PJ002. Because our connectors are parametrically driven, we can swap our connector pins very, very quickly and easily. What that will also do is it will swap anything connected to those pins in the database behind the drawings as well. This is why you have to be so careful with AutoCAD Electrical. Let's have a look at swapping these connector pins around. If I go up to the schematic tab on the ribbon, edit components panel, and click on the flyout again to get all of my editing tools, you've got swap connector pins at the bottom there. So I click on it, come into the drawing area, and I select the connector pin that I want to swap. I'm going to select 01, and then I'm going to swap that with 03. They automatically swap, the database updates, I press enter or escape to finish. It's that quick and it's that easy. Up here to the flyout, swap connector pins, let's swap those back. I go 01 and I want to swap that with 03, and it swaps back, enter or escape to finish. Now again, you've got the right hand click on the mouse to use as well. So you select the component, right click, and again you've got the ability there to swap connector pins. So I'll swap 01 with 03 again, and they've swapped. The good thing is I can select the connector pin again, 01, 03, swap it back, enter or escape to finish. So that is how you swap your connector pins on a connector in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. So we're staying in drawing Demo 10, and we're still in the Demo 14 project over there on the left in the project manager. There'll always be the occasion where you've got to reverse a connector in your drawing. So let's just zoom out one notch here. You can see that the connectors at the moment have the pins on the right hand side of the connector. It's very, very easy to reverse a connector. 2 ways of doing it. You've got the ribbon and the mouse. Let's look at the ribbon method first. You go up to the schematic tab here on the ribbon, into the edit components panel, same flyout as before, and what you want to do is reverse the connector, the one at the top there. So you click on it, select the connector to reverse, so you just click on it like so, and it just flips it round. That quick, that easy. It's parametric, remember, so it does it all in one go. There's no need to worry about mirror commands or anything like that, or flipping or anything like that at all. You just reverse the connector using the commands provided in AutoCAD Electrical. Press enter or escape there to finish. Again, let's go over here and select a connector, right click, and you'll notice that you've got the option to reverse the connector on the right click menu. So I click on reverse connector and it all reverses straight away. Again, enter or escape to finish. So let's go back again and do that one more time. Schematic tab on the ribbon, flyout menu on the edit components panel, and you want to reverse the connector. You select the connector to reverse, reverses it automatically, enter or escape to finish. And if you want to use the right click menu, select, right click, reverse connector, enter or escape to finish. So that's how you reverse your connectors when you've got them in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. So we're staying in the Demo 14 project, in the Demo 10 drawing, in the schematic subfolder there. And what we're going to look at now are rotating our connectors as well. Again, you can do this via the ribbon or the mouse. So let's go up to the schematic tab on the ribbon, edit components panel, this flyout here, and you want to rotate connector. So you click on it and come into the drawing area. Now you'll notice you've got select connector to rotate or hold. Now we'll look at hold in a moment. What I'm going to do is select the connector here like so, and it just rotates it. If I click again, rotates it again. If I click again, rotates it again, and one more time, and it brings it back to the vertical where we started. So you can see there that the default angle that it rotates through is obviously 90 degrees each time. Let me zoom out and go through that one more time. So I click there, that rotates it that way, that way, that way, and then click again that way. And then I press enter or escape to finish. Now, what's this hold option? What does that do? Well, let's go through that one more time, but this time we'll use the right click on the mouse. So I'll select the component again, right click, rotate connector. And then I've got this hold option. So if I right click again and select hold, it says hold attributes at original orientation, yes or no. If I say yes to that, and then select the connector to rotate, it holds them in the original position each time I click. So they hold in the original position on the connector. So let's press enter or escape to cancel that, and let's do that one more time. So I'll select the component, right click, rotate connector on the shortcut menu, and I select the connector to rotate or hold. So I right click, select hold. Notice the default is yes. So if I say no now, and then rotate the connector, watch what happens. Can you see how everything is in place? It stays on the connector this time. So it's rotating with the connector. So when you say no, it maintains the original positions as you rotate through. Let me just hit enter and take you through that one more time. It's a little bit of a weird concept to grasp. I select the component, I right click and rotate connector. So then I do a right click and hold, and this time I'll say yes, hold attributes at original orientation. So if I say yes to that, you'll notice all of the attributes are horizontal, PJ001 and the 4 pins, 01 through 04. So if I rotate, watch the orientation of the text. It all stays horizontal. If I do it again, horizontal, do it again, horizontal, do it again, horizontal, enter to finish. Do it one more time where it says no to the hold, and you'll see what I mean. So I select it again, right click, rotate connector, right click, hold, and this time I'll say no. Select the connector to rotate. It actually rotates with the connector. So the justification of the text then follows the connector when you say no. So I'll just rotate that through each time again, 1, 2, and 3, and we're back to where we were before. So remember that yes and no when you're rotating your connectors. It can be really useful for the attributes because sometimes you might want to maintain that orientation. Other times you might not. So that hold option allows you to either maintain the orientation or not, as the case may be. There'll often be occasions when you're working in your AutoCAD electrical drawings and you need to stretch one of your connectors. Now you'll notice that the smaller of the connectors only has 4 pins on it right now. So what happens if I want to stretch that particular connector? You can do it using the ribbon or you can do it using the mouse. So let's have a look at the ribbon method first. In the schematic tab here on the ribbon, edit components panel, click on the flyout here and you've got stretch connector. So I click there and I specify which end of the connector to stretch. Now this is a really nice tool because I can select either end of the connector to stretch. Now because I can see that 01 is at the top, it's going to be the bottom end of the connector that I want to stretch. So I click there and as I drag downwards, it's stretching it out for me. I just click on the second point and there's my stretched connector. I can then select the connector, right click. I might want to add some connector pins now. So I specify a point where I want to connect there. There we go, 05, click there, 06, enter to finish, and I've now got a stretched connector. Very, very quick, very, very easy. Let's have a look at PJ002 here and stretch that one as well. So what we'll do is we'll select the component this time, right click, and you'll notice that we've got the ability to stretch the connector, and it's the same process, but this time, can you notice it automatically starts from the top? So I can stretch upwards, or as I come down, it stops. This time, it depends on which end of the connector you actually select the component. So let me hit escape a couple of times, select the component down at the bottom end, then right click and then go stretch connector, and you'll see that I can stretch from the bottom end. So be careful of that when you're using the right click menu. It depends on where you select the connector as to where you can stretch it from. So if I come down here a bit and click there, you'll see that's longer now. And again, I can select the connector, right click, and I want to add some connector pins. So I'll just go 1 and 2 there like so. Enter to finish, and you can see that I've stretched both connectors, but in slightly different ways. One using the ribbon, one using the mouse. There are subtle differences. Be aware of them. I prefer the mouse method because I'm just clicking straight on the connector and then stretching it from the point I click on the connector. But if you prefer the ribbon method, entirely up to you. We're still in the project Demo 14, in the schematic subfolder and in the drawing Demo 10. I've zoomed and panned into the connector PJ002, and what we're going to look at is splitting connectors in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Sometimes you get a connector that is too long or too cumbersome, so what you can do is you can split it and give it a parent-child relationship that we've looked at in previous videos. So let's have a look and see how that works. What you need to do is go up to the top to the ribbon first of all, and in the schematic tab on the ribbon, as usual, you go to the Edit Components panel here, click on the flyout, and you can see there that we've got the Split Connector command. So you click on it and come into the drawing area. As soon as you do that, you've got to select the connector block to split. So it's going to be this one here. So you click on it, and then you are asked for the split point. Where do you want to split it? So I'm going to go between 4 and 5, just there, and click on the block. Now, as soon as I do that, you'll see a whole load of attributes appear, and you get this split block dialog box. Where you split it is the point where you separate parent and child. So this top bit of the connector block is the parent. The bottom bit that you're splitting off and moving elsewhere becomes the child. Obviously, you want to reposition the child block, so you make sure that that is ticked. You're going to pick a point where that base point is, or you can leave it as it is. It doesn't matter because you've already split it. You've got a choice. You can have a break type. You can have no lines. You can have a straight line across the break or jagged lines. I prefer jagged lines, so I'm going to leave that as it is. And you can also draw how you want it to split maybe as well. You might want to use just a diagonal line, for example. The break type goes onto the layer Symbols, and you can list the layers if you want to and pick a different layer. I'm just going to click on OK now. What will happen now is I get my split. There's my split there, and I'm going to place it there. Now, where I've split that, you can see that I've got my jagged lines. If I zoom in, there's the jagged line there at the bottom, and there's the jagged line there at the top. Now, you might need to reposition some attributes. That's no problem at all. You just click here, like so, right click. You still get the right-hand shortcut menu, and what you want to do is go to Attributes, and you want to move an attribute. So you click there, select the attribute you want to move, which is going to be the PJ002, the tag. Right click or enter to confirm, pick a base point. I'm just going to move that up slightly to there, just so it sticks out away from the jagged lines, and then I'll press escape or enter to finish. So you can see there that you've split your connector into two parts. Now you've got a question mark here. That's part of this here, this block reference here now. So you can select it, right click and edit component up here on the shortcut menu. And you can see there that you've got PJ002 as the component tag. Now there's a question mark, reference NO or NC. So you don't know whether that is a normally open or normally closed reference. So what you can do there is you can actually just remove that, like so, if you want to, and then click on OK. And as you can see, that then disappears. But obviously, sometimes with connectors, you need to know whether they're normally open or normally closed, and you need to know what the cross-reference is between the two split connectors. So you can see now you've got two connectors that form part of the same connector block, but they're split just for more ease of use on your AutoCAD electrical drawings. You can also do that on the right-hand shortcut menu, and you can split again once you've split already. So if I select that block there and right-click, you'll notice I can still split the connector again if I want to. In this case, I don't want to, but you can see there that the split connector option is also on the right-hand shortcut menu as well. So you can use the ribbon or the mouse to split your connectors, and you can just keep splitting them over and over again, and they'll be linked together as long as you keep doing that with a parent-child relationship. So that's how you split your connectors in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're staying in Demo 14 project, and we're still in the schematic subfolder in the Demo 10 drawing. What I've done this time is I've zoomed into the top half of the PJ002 connector that we split in previous videos. Now, it may be that you want to edit your pin numbers on your connectors in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. It's very, very easy. You've just got to use the edit attribute command available to you in AutoCAD electrical. Don't use something like the text editing tools, because again, that could affect the AutoCAD electrical project database. If you want to do it via the ribbon, it's the schematic tab on the ribbon, the edit components panel, click on the flyout here, and you want to edit selected attribute. So I use the pick box now. I'm going to select 01 there on PJ002, change that to A1 and click on OK. I might then select the second one and change that to A2. So I click on OK there. I can then press Enter or Escape just to finish off the command. Now I can do that using obviously the right hand click menu as well. I select the component, I right click, I go down to attributes here, and I just want to edit attribute. I can do the same here on the 03. And again, I'm going to put in A3 and then OK that, and then Enter or Escape to finish. Be very, very careful, because what you can do is you can edit an attribute and double up on your numbers. So if I select this attribute here that I want to edit, the A3, I then pick similar text on the drawing and select 04 there. Click on OK. I've now got two pin numbers with the same number. Now I'll just press Enter there to finish the command. And that means now that my database thinks that on this PJ002, I've got two pins that are 0404. That could get confusing. So always when you're editing your pin numbers in your AutoCAD electrical drawings, do a sanity check. Make sure that the numbering is appropriate. So let's finish off this numbering properly. We'll go back to the edit attribute here. That one there is going to become A3. Press Enter. This one is going to become A4. Press Enter and then press Enter again to finish. And that is how you edit your pin numbers on your connectors in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. So what is the difference between a ladder drawing in AutoCAD electrical and a point-to-point wiring diagram? Well, a ladder drawing normally consists of two main wires, normally going vertically, with the rungs spanning between those two wires. And what you do is you place your components along those rungs of the ladder. What I've got in front of you, again in the Demo 14 project, in the Demo 10 drawing, is a point-to-point wiring diagram. And I've got that coming off of one of our connectors in our drawing Demo 10. So you can see there's PJ001, our connector, and all the wires coming off of the pins are going along with components within the wires joining to our conveyor motor. So that is a point-to-point wiring diagram, because it's going from one point all the way across with components in the wires to another point. Now there's nothing to stop me taking other wires off of other pins and flowing all the way around my AutoCAD electrical drawing. So that's the difference between a ladder drawing and a point-to-point wiring diagram. I'm going from point to point here, just flowing around the drawing. A ladder drawing constrains you to that ladder and those rungs within the ladder. Let's have a look now at our point-to-point wiring diagram and what we're going to do with it. We're going to start looking now at circuits, and what we've created here is a small circuit, very, very basic one. So I've basically got the wiring coming off of the connector, going through a fuse, there's the push button there, and basically that goes down to a three-phase motor there where the push button starts the motor. This is a very simplistic circuit. what I've done there is just place some components and wires into a point-to-point wiring diagram so that we can start looking at how circuits work in our AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're staying in the project Demo 14 and we're in the schematic subfolder, and we're still in the drawing demo10.dwg. I've zoomed out slightly so that we can see our point-to-point wiring diagram. And what we're going to look at now are the benefits of circuits in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Now, I've created that basic circuit as a point-to-point wiring diagram, and what we're going to do is we're going to save that circuit as what is known as a W block. Now, the W in W block stands for write block, so you're writing the block to another DWG file in another known location. The quickest way to run the W block command is quite literally to type it. Now you'll see the suggestion menu come up. You can click on it there, W block, and it will bring up the write block dialog box. Now we want to select the objects in the drawing itself. We need a base point, so we pick a point in the drawing. Make sure your object snaps are on, and then you can snap to a corner of, say, that connector there, which is what we're going to use for our W block. Then I need to select the objects that make up the actual W block itself. So I'm going to click on the Select Objects button here, and then I'm going to select everything that makes up my circuit. Now I'm doing a crossing selection there, so as I cross the bottom of that connector, it still gets selected like that. I then press Enter to confirm, and then I need to specify the location of the DWG file for the W block. So I'm going to click here, and you can see there I can browse for a drawing file. I'm saving it to my Demo 14 project folder. I'm going to overwrite this circuit 1401 drawing here, which I created previously, and I'm just going to overwrite it with my new circuit like so. As soon as I click on OK, that's going to overwrite it, and I'll get a prompt saying that that file already exists. So I'm going to replace it there like so. Now you'll notice that little flash in the top left corner there. That's AutoCAD Electrical writing the circuit to its own separate DWG file. Now, just to prove that I have saved that, what I can do is I'll go down here to my taskbar, and there's my circuit 1401.dwg there. So I've saved that into the Demo 14 project folder. So I'll just minimize that again. And what we've done there now is we've created a separate drawing of our circuit, and we've saved it so that we can use it over and over again now in other AutoCAD electrical drawings. So once you create all of these smaller circuits using your point-to-point wiring diagrams, you can reuse them over and over again. You don't have to keep on creating them in your AutoCAD electrical drawings. Once you've saved your point-to-point wiring diagram as a circuit and saved it out as a W block circuit to another DWG file in a known location, you can just insert those W block circuits straight into your AutoCAD electrical drawings. And what's really nice is it brings it in, and then all you've got to do is tag it and go through it and make sure that the numbering is tidied up afterwards. And what it allows you to do is create small circuits like this and then reuse them over and over again. It's very, very easy to insert a W block circuit into an AutoCAD electrical drawing. You go to your schematic tab on the ribbon, and you use this icon here on the flyout menu in the Insert Components panel on the ribbon itself. And you want to insert the W block circuit. So I click there like so. It's in my Demo 14 project folder. And if you remember from the last video, we named it Circuit 1401.dwg because we are still in the Demo 14 project, and we're inserting this into our drawing Demo 10. So I select it there, click on Open, and I get this circuit scale dialog box. Now what this allows me to do is put in a custom scale, which I don't really need to worry about because I made sure that the W block circuit used an inches scale. And because I'm using the JIC Imperial Standards, I know that it's going to be in inches again when it comes into this drawing, because this drawing is also in inches. What I can also do is move all lines to wire layers, keep all fixed wire numbers, keep all source arrows, update the circuit's text layers as required. That's very useful, because then it all comes in on the right layers in the current drawing here. And also, you can say not to blank out any orphaned contacts. Sometimes you might need those and you might need to bring them back into the AutoCAD Electrical Project database at a later date, so you might not want to blank them out. Click on OK there. There's my circuit there, an exact replica of the circuit on the left. I just click, and it comes into the drawing, and as you can see, this has now got PJ question mark, FU, fuse question mark, push button question mark, and so on, because it all needs to be tagged. Now what I can do here is I can tag this individually, very, very easy to do. I just select the component, right click, edit component like so, and I can change that there to perhaps PJ200. Click on OK, and that updates. Very, very easy to do. And then same with the fuse, same with the push button, same with the motor, so I can go in and retag those if I want to. But that is how you insert a W-block circuit into your current electrical AutoCAD drawing. The nice thing about using these W-block circuits is once you've inserted one into your AutoCAD electrical drawing, it's very, very easy to re-tag it and make sure that everything is neat and tidy, because it inserts as a circuit with all its wires, connectors and components in place. So we're still in the Demo 14 project and we're still using Drawing Demo 10. What I've done here by way of a comparison is the circuit on the left is all neatly tidied up and ready to be used in the AutoCAD electrical drawing. The circuit on the right, this one here, has been brought in as a W block and needs tidying up. So you'll notice that wire numbers are tidier and are all tagged correctly. So let's zoom in on this circuit on the right, pan across a little bit. And you can see there that we've got some wire numbering and we've got some component numbering that needs tidying up and sorting out. So the first thing we're going to do is the connector block needs to be updated. So I'm going to click there, right click, edit component. We're going to change the component tag there to PJ200 and then click on OK. So that updates. Now we've got some wire numbers here, but they need to be aligned and tidied up. We'll go up to the align command here on the edit components panel. There's a line there. I'm going to line it up with this 202 wire number here, and then 201 and 200. I'll just press enter now, and they're neatly aligned. Now you'll notice that this wire here is 200, so that fuse should really represent that wire number. So we need to edit the component there, change that to FU200 to make sure that it ties in with the wire number. Same with the push button as well. Click, right click, edit component. That push button there needs to be updated to 200 as well. So you can see that all I'm doing here is utilizing the AutoCAD electrical tools to make sure that everything is tidied up. Again, with the motor there, that's going to be MOT200. So we'll just edit component, lose the question mark there, and click on OK again. Now, sometimes when you run the project retag command, you might find that you get these question marks because there's nothing linking this to the project database, because you've brought it in from a separate drawing file. It's a W block in a separate drawing file. So when you retag, it doesn't know what to link up to. So you might need to retag manually like this. Now we've got these wires here as well. So that's 200 coming up to the fuse. So this really should be 200A and 200B. Now it's already put an A there, but what I'd like to do is just renumber these. So we're going to do edit wire number here. So I'll select that one there, and that will become 200A. And you can make it fixed if you want to. So there's our 200A there. And then I'm going to select this one here and make this one 200B. So that's updated, and then enter to finish. What I might do there as well is I might select this PB200, right click, attributes, and move the attribute slightly. So I'll click on the PB200 there, right click, click there as a base point, just drag that up a little bit, and then just press enter to finish. And then we've got a nice retagged W block circuit in our AutoCAD electrical drawing. You can also add an existing circuit into the icon menu in AutoCAD Electrical. Now we're staying in the Demo 14 project and we're using the Demo 10 drawing. What I've done is I've zoomed into an existing circuit in the Demo 10 drawing to use as the active view for the icon that goes into the icon menu when we actually create it to go into the icon menu in a moment. We're going to go to the schematic tab on the ribbon, go right across to the right hand side into the other tools panel and you click on this icon here, Icon Menu Wizard. Now make sure that you select the appropriate menu file. We're going to be inserting our circuit into the schematic icon menu, not the panel icon menu. Notice the names are different and they change when you click on the button. We want schematic. Now it may be that you need to browse to your schematic menu file, which is normally a DAT file. Okay, so just be careful there. If you need to browse, there's the browse button, but it is the schematic menu file we're using. So I click on OK there. This looks just like the icon menu. It is in fact the icon menu wizard. Look at the name of the dialog box. It looks very similar, looks very much like your regular icon menu, which it should do, but in the top right I can add a new circuit. We're going to give it the same name as the W block circuit that we used in previous videos. So there's the name of our circuit ready to go into our icon menu. Now the image file I'm going to use, I'm just going to click on active there, and it takes the active view that I had zoomed in here in the drawing area. So make sure that you're zoomed in before you start adding circuits to the icon menu. I'm going to create a PNG from the current screen image, and you can see that the image file is going to be called Demo 10. Now what you might want to do there is copy that there and then paste it into there. Then it's all got the same name and it all corresponds with each other. Circuit drawing file next. We need to give the file a name. I'm just going to click here, Control V, and copy that in there. It automatically adds a DWG suffix for you, so you don't need to put that in the file name itself. It saves that to a known location, which is one of your preferred folders in your project properties. So you don't need to worry too much about where that particular DWG is going. You can go and look for it, but it's a big long path and I don't recommend it. Just go with what it says there on the screen. Everything's done and all set up for the icon details, so I click on OK. It will prompt me if I want to replace my DWG. I'll OK that, that's fine, because what I did previously to this video was tested the locations where the file was going to go. So there was already a file of the same name in there. Now I need a base point so that when I insert my circuit from the icon menu, it knows where to insert it from. I'm going to go for that corner there, the endpoint snap. Then I'm going to select the objects that make up the circuit that go into the DWG file so that when I click on the icon menu, it's actually got a circuit to insert. So I'm going to do a crossing selection and select everything here. Then I press enter to confirm. And there's my circuit 1401 in the icon menu. So if I now click on OK, I've now saved this circuit to the icon menu, ready to be used for other AutoCAD electrical drawings in my project. In the previous video, we saved this circuit here to the icon menu in AutoCAD Electrical. So what we're going to look at now is actually inserting that particular circuit from the icon menu into our current AutoCAD Electrical drawing. So we're staying in the Demo 14 project. We're still in the Demo 10 drawing. What I do now is I just go up to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, Insert Components panel, click here on the flyout menu and select Icon menu. And you'll notice that my circuit is right there. So all I've got to do now is click on that. I get asked what is the circuit scale. Very similar to when I did the W block circuit previously. I've got all the same options here, so I'm going to leave that as is. Now I know that when I created the circuit to go into the icon menu, it was in inches. I know that this drawing is also in inches using the JIC Imperial Standards, so I can just set the circuit scale there to 1. I know it's going to be 1. I click on OK, and lo and behold, there's my circuit. So I'm just going to place it over here. I'm going to click there like so. And if I zoom in now, you'll see it's the same as the W blocked circuit that we brought in previously. I still need to go in and tag it. It's brought in the tags, but it doesn't know what the numbers are. So I would actually need to use Edit Component now. Notice everything is still a component. It's all been brought in. It's not separate blocks or anything like that. I can edit that component. I can change that to, let's say, 300. Click on OK, and that updates in the AutoCAD Electrical drawing. Now, I'm not going to bore you by putting in loads of wire numbers and so on and so forth. You obviously know how to retag and add wire numbers and add component numbers and edit these other components in the circuit you've just brought in. So I'm just going to double click on the wheel now to zoom extents, and that's how you insert your circuit that you've already added to the icon menu in AutoCAD Electrical. If I want to move a circuit around in my AutoCAD Electrical drawing, there's a really neat tool that I can use that allows me to move a circuit but also make sure that all the tags and the wire numbers are up to speed as well. Now, we're staying in the Demo 14 project. We're still in the Demo 10 drawing at the moment. And I've got a circuit here that's all numbered up neatly and tidily, and I want to move that particular circuit. So I go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, Edit Components panel here, and click on this flyout menu here, and I can move an entire circuit. It allows me to move the windowed circuitry on an active drawing to a new insertion point with an automatic component tag update. So when I click on Move Circuit, I select the objects, and I then right-click or Enter to confirm. It's just like the Move command. It asks for a base point or a displacement. I'm going to use that endpoint snap there and click. And there's the circuit moving. You can see it moving along like that. If I keep it level on the 0-degree polar tracking line and then click again, everything updates on the actual circuit as well. Now you'll notice that the numbers have updated. Now can you see we've got question marks again? If I zoom out on the drawing here, you'll notice that we don't actually have any reference markings, such as an X zone or an XY grid anywhere. That's why those are actually going to question marks in this particular case, because I've moved it from a known location and it doesn't find any reference markings to use, hence the question marks. It's not a problem. I can easily update those manually, or in my drawing make sure that I've got reference marks so that they update automatically. I'll just zoom out now. I've now moved that circuit effectively in my AutoCAD Electrical drawing. In the previous video, we looked at moving a circuit in our AutoCAD Electrical drawing. Now you can copy a circuit in a very similar way as you would move a circuit. Now we're staying in the Demo 14 project, we're still in the Demo 10 drawing, and I've moved over to this circuit here now that starts with the wire numbers 100, 101 and 102. And what I'm going to do is copy that circuit into this space here in the center of the drawing area. So again, I go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, into the Edit Components panel, and it's this flyout here. And I want to copy the circuit this time. Now you'll notice I've also got Save Circuit to Icon menu. So there is actually a shortcut there. Instead of using the Icon menu wizard, I can just go here, Save Circuit to Icon menu, and that'll take me straight to saving it to the saved user circuits in the Icon menu itself. And notice I can save up to 24 circuits at a time in that menu if I want to. I'm just going to go to Copy Circuit this time. Select the objects on the circuit that I want to copy using a crossing selection, and then an Enter to confirm. I'm going to go for a base point down here, same endpoint snap again as when I did the Move circuit. And then the second point, I'm going to drag it just down here to about there. Get it nicely lined in, that'll do. Make sure that there's nothing clashing, I'm not on top of any other circuitry. Click there like so. Wire numbering. It's got one or more fixed wire numbers found. Keep the fixed wire numbers or blank them all. Do you want to keep fixed wire numbers? That will make them copies. So I'm going to blank them all in this case. I click on OK. Takes a few seconds, and look, can you see everything is blanked out so that I can retag it manually or do a project-wide retag maybe later on. So that's how I can copy a circuit in my AutoCAD Electrical drawings. In one of the previous sections of this AutoCAD Electrical 2015 course, we looked at placing one-phase ladders. What we're going to look at now in this video is creating three-phase ladders and then adding multiple bus wiring to that three-phase ladder as well. Now we're still in the Demo 14 project, but we're in a new blank drawing, Demo 11.dwg. We're going to go to the Schematic tab on the ribbon, and then go to the Insert Wires Wire Numbers panel, click on this flyout here and select Insert Ladder. Instead of using a one-phase ladder, we're going to use a three-phase ladder. Now you'll notice all of the settings have defaulted in based on my drawing properties and my project properties. If I click three-phase, you can see that it changes quite dramatically. I've got three-phase there with 1/2 inch spacing on the vertical wires of the ladder. The spacing of the actual connectors there is actually 3/4 inch. Can you see that? 0.75. Now the first reference that's coming in is 811, based on the sequential tagging that's going on in the project database behind the drawing. I'm going to change that there to 1000. Now the indexing is coming in at 1, so that means it will have consecutive numbers, so it'll be 1001, 1002 and so on. If I click on OK now, it says specify start position of first rung. When you place a three-phase ladder, it is subtly different. So if I click like that and then just drag downwards, that's how it places the three-phase ladder. It just keeps going unless I've specified the number of rungs needed. So if I click there like that, there's my three-phase ladder. So if I zoom in on that now, you can see 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003. If I go here to multiple bus, again on the Insert Wires Wire Numbers panel, I've got horizontal spacing, vertical spacing, 1/2 inch each way. I've got component, multiple wires, another bus, multiple wires, empty space horizontal, empty space vertical. If I go another bus, multiple wires, and make sure that the phasing is the same, so it's 3 there, or I can click on the 3 button and click on OK, I can now select the existing wire to begin the multi-phase bus connection. So if I click on this wire here and then drag across, can you see it automatically places the wires on the appropriate places on my three-phase ladder? So I can click there like that now. There's my wires, and the lovely thing is when I press enter now and I zoom in here, you can see, look, I've got a connector on each of the wires, and I've also got my wire gap loops going across the wires where the wires go across. So that's how I can place my three-phase ladders and my multiple phase wiring in my AutoCAD electrical drawings. We're staying in the Demo 11 drawing in the Demo 14 project. The Demo 11 drawing is the one we used in the previous video to insert our three-phase ladder and our three-phase multiple bus wiring. Now you'll notice I've updated the wire type to make it red. That's just using a new layer and creating a new wire type for this particular drawing. We can add three-phase symbols to our AutoCAD electrical drawing as well. And the nice thing is they're all parametrically driven. So if I go to the schematic tab here on the ribbon, Insert Components panel, click on the flyout menu here and select Icon Menu. So what I've got here now is the icon menu using the JIC Imperial schematic symbols. I click on Motor Control here and I want my three-phase motor. And all I'm going to do is pick here on this middle wire. It gives it a component tag, as you can see. I can put all the other details in if I want to. When I click on OK, it's automatically inserted that three-phase motor, because it knows that this is a three-phase multiple bus piece of wiring. Other sorts of components I can add are things like contacts, switches, but I've got a whole load of three-phase schematic components that I can add to a drawing. So if we go back to the icon menu again, and I go back to my motor control, I've got a three-phase starter contacts normally open, a three-phase starter contacts normally closed, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do first is go for a three-phase starter contacts normally open. I'm going to select the lower wire here. Be careful. Can you see that my object snaps are on? Make sure they're off for this one. So we'll just click there, and then I just select on the wire. Otherwise it will snap to the ends of the wire instead of where I place it on the wire. So I click there, build up or down. I want to build that up because that's the lower wire. It updates, and as you can see, I've got a component tag there, so I'll just put M100 for now. Click on OK, and there's all the information. Maybe what I should have done there is perhaps update that component to tie in with the motor number. So what I can do here is I can click here, right click, edit component, and what I might want to do there is change that to 1003 and then click on OK. This component has one or more other components tied to it by a dash link line. Update these also. OK. This component may need a cross-reference update. I'm going to cancel that because what I should have done there is when I selected this to edit, I should have done a parent-child relationship. So let's update again. Parent-sibling. Now it is a child component. So if I go there and then select the motor as the parent, it's got old and new because that's an MOT, isn't it? Because it's a motor. Can you see you've got the MOT in the tag? So there's the old M and there's the MOT there on the motor. So I'll OK that now. Component tag updates. I OK it there. Update it. Yes, thank you. And it's got a cross-reference update. That's no problem because obviously it's referencing across the 3 wires. But you can see there, look, 1003, 1003, and it's all updated. So you can see how you can add these 3-phase symbols and components to your AutoCAD electrical drawings when you're using things like 3-phase ladders and multiple bus